Commissioner, Deputy Commissioner, General Counsel at oath designated by the chair to conduct today's or provide today's meeting. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Today is October 25, 2018. All right. So first item on the agenda are the minutes. Is there a motion to adopt the minutes for August 23rd meeting? Okay, motion carries. Number 2 on the agenda is introduction of OPCD's final rule, repealing the sewer control penalty schedule.
Good morning, Simone Saloon, Senior Counsel at Oath. And we have 2 rules for your consideration today. The first one is the final rule repealing the sewer control penalty schedule, which is currently found in section 3-123 of subchapter G of chapter 3 of title 48 of the rules of the City of New York. So we proposed the rule repeal in the city record. It was published in the city record on August 31st, 2018. We had a public hearing on October 3rd, 2018. No one attended or testified at the public hearing. We didn't receive any written comments. So the rule is unchanged as a version that was proposed. So this penalty schedule contains penalties for summonses issued by the Department of Environmental Protection for violations of Chapter 5 of Title 24 of the Administrative Code of the City of New York and Chapter 19 of Title 15 of the Rules of the City of New York. DEP is promulgating their own sewer control penalty schedule. I believe that was discussed at the last meeting in terms of the changes that DEP is undertaking in terms of the stormwater violations that will be added. So if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer.
All right, is there a motion to approve? There's a motion, vote. 6 and 7 in favor and opposed. 2 opposing.
Okay, the second rule is the final rule repealing the community right to know penalty schedule, which is found in section 3-104 of subchapter G of chapter 3 of title 48 of the rules of the City of New York. The proposed rule repeal was published in the city record on August 31st, 2018, and a public hearing was held on October 3rd, 2018. No one attended or testified at the public hearing concerning this rule repeal, and we didn't receive any written comments. This is a penalty schedule for violations of the community right to know law codified in Chapter 7 of Title 24 of the Administrative Code of the City of New York. And the Department of Environmental Protection is promulgating a related rule adding a very similar community right to know penalty schedule to Chapter 41 of Title 15 of the Rules of the City of New York. Any questions?
Okay, motion to approve and vote in favor. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 7 in favor and those opposing.
Thank you.
All right, so we now have DEP's request for cease and desist orders.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Russell Kukunis. I'm with the Bureau of Legal Affairs at the Department of Environmental Protection. So the first thing for this meeting is that at the last meeting, DEP made a request for a cease and desist order pursuant to the sewer code, which was for ESG Grand Corp., which I believe was a grease trap related series of violations. The board approved the request for a cease and desist order. Between the boards approving the request for the cease and desist order and the issuance of the order, before the order could be issued, the respondent came into compliance. So the order did not have to be issued and was not issued. And although that's never happened before, I understand that the procedure would be for us to now ask the board to approve the withdrawal of that cease and desist order request.
Okay. So the motion is made. Those voting in favor? Okay. Let's see. All right, motion passed.
Secondly, I would like to just update the board with regard to a matter that's been discussed at a couple of the recent meetings relating to a shut-off, water shut-off request for a hotel in Brooklyn. So there have been a number of meetings with Commissioner Sapienza and with staff from the Bureau of Water and Sewer Operations. What we have decided to do is to identify a number of purely commercial locations that have defaulted on cease and desist orders for not installing backflow devices. The cease and desist order provides that if the respondent defaults as to the hearing, that the department can terminate the water service without any further process or approval. And we are identifying as a test group, sort of, the guinea pigs, as it were, 10 locations that are high hazard, purely commercial locations that have defaulted on their cease and desist orders, and we're going to do the water shutoffs at those 10 locations first as sort of a test group. There are then several dozen additional commercial locations that are in default as to cease and desist orders, and we're going to work our way through that list. We will serve warning notices, we will send a crew to mark the sidewalk, and if none of that gets them to comply, we will then proceed, since these are purely commercial locations, to terminate the water service. The commissioner appreciates and understands that we really, as a practical matter, cannot terminate the water to residential locations, which this hotel that we have been discussing, although it is officially a hotel, is being considered a residential location. The plan currently is to address those by the issuance of repeated summonses and the imposition of repeated fines until they come into compliance, since we can't really go forward with water shutoffs on those locations. So that's the update on the enforcement of the backflow cease and desist orders. So if anyone has any questions about that. So for this meeting, the department has 59 requests for new cease and desist orders for failure to comply with backflow prevention requirements. In each of these cases, the property owner has been ordered to comply, has failed to do so, has received a summons for failing to do so. That summons has been adjudicated in violation, or they have defaulted on it. Each of these respondents is still not in compliance, and so in each of these cases, the department is asking the board to issue an order to cease and desist.
Okay, is there a motion to approve? Okay, and votes in favor? Okay.
That's just for backflow, right?
This is that one.
Okay, all in favor, one abstain.
And then,
Do you,
no. And then we have 3 requests for cease and desist orders pursuant to the noise code. The first one is G&L Restaurant LLC, located at 21 West 8th Street in Manhattan. This establishment has been cited on 3 occasions this year for excessive noise from its kitchen exhaust, and based on the repeated summonses and continuing failure to comply, the department is asking the board to issue an order to cease and desist.
I have a question. That one and the third one, is there some relationship between those? Because
Between
that
this
one, I'm sorry that I didn't print them out, but the one that you just referred to and the third one, it almost seemed like it was the same,
between 2 and 3 noise one?
yeah.
The other noise one is 62 West
There weren't
9th
3
Street.
noise, right, exactly.
So
Those
this
are
is
the
West
two-
8th and the other one is West 9th.
Right, but it almost seemed, but they were the same date of the last, the most recent violation. It almost seemed like it was the same complainant, and they saw 2 potential sources, both of which had been issued violations before. So I'm making a,
One of them is an establishment based on their liquor license that's called Loring Place, and the other one
the
is-
establishments were different.
Yeah.
But what I'm asking about was, were they in the same apartment and they saw the same complainant's apartment and they saw 2 potential noise sources, one on 8th Street and one on 9th Street?
Mhm.
Do you see what I'm saying? Because it was the same day and these, I didn't Google Maps the locations, but I guess my question is, are we sure that this isn't a case of it's either one or the other? But
Well, I
we're
mean,
not-
that could have been a defense that they raised at hearings if they felt that there was some other.
But they would know. How would they know that somebody else is
No,
issued
people
a
come in all the
violation?
time and say that it's not my kitchen
How would they-
exhaust, it's the restaurant across the
Right.
street.
But this
I
isn't
mean,
across the
that's-
street, this is on the block behind, so I don't know that, I feel like it's
Yeah, but
one
you
thing
think
to.
so, but correct me if I'm wrong, they turn off don't they turn off the exhaust at the ambient and then turn it back on?
No, well, the way that they take the readings
Right.
is that the equipment that at this specific establishment is turned on and off. So the equipment at all other establishments is part of the ambient.
So it's just a coincidence.
That these are two so close together.
On the same day.
But if they take the ambient reading with the one on and it's still above the allowable level with the one off, then it's still,
And I mean, none of these inspections were done on the same dates. There were 3 for West 8th Street and 3 for West 9th Street, and they were done on 6
Okay.
different dates.
All right, I'm sorry, I was wrong, they weren't the same day.
Yeah.
I thought there were 2, I thought they were the
Plus
same
the
day.
ambient level.
Okay, I'm sorry. So it's just a coincidence that they were
That
so
they're-
close together?
Right, so
Okay.
close to each other, yeah.
Okay, sorry about that.
All right,
So have we voted on the first one yet, or?
No, we have not voted. Is there a motion? Okay, in favor? All right.
Oh, I didn't get it.
And the second one is at 62 West 9th Street, which is BL 62 West 9th Street LLC, doing business as, I believe, Casa Apici. And this one has also been cited for excessive noise from exhaust on 3 different occasions this year. And again, due to the repeated violations and continuing failure to come into compliance, DEP is asking the board to issue an order to cease and desist.
Any questions? Okay, motion on that one. In favor? Okay.
And the third one is for 35-33 36th Street Court, located at that address in Queens. This is an establishment in Long Island City that's known as Studio Square, It has a large outdoor beer garden type area where there are both live bands and DJs. This has been the subject of many, many complaints during the summer months from people in the neighborhood. And although normally we do not ask for cease and desist orders for music because they can basically just change the sound system because it's specific to this equipment. Because of the persistence of the complaints with regard to this establishment, we have cited them 3 times. Again, it's a seasonal thing, so one of them is in 16, one of them is in 17, and one of them is in 18. But because this location is a problem every summer, and they don't seem to be willing to do anything to address it, the department is asking that the board issue an order to cease and desist.
As a practical matter, now that it's not summer anymore, how will that work?
You know, this is, again, it's something that, I mean, I've been involved in a couple of the hearings for this, and they just take the position that these concerts and DJ things that they have during the summer draw huge crowds, and if it's too noisy on that night, they don't care. They're not going to do anything about it. It's just for one night, and people have to deal with it. That's been their attitude at the hearings that I've been in.
No, but I mean,
With a situation like this, it's not a mechanical problem. It can always be addressed by just lowering the level of the music and putting a limiter on the sound system so that it can't be turned up beyond a level that will be in violation at the adjoining premises. I mean, again, it more than likely these events are over now for the season,
Right.
and will not be. We probably won't get any complaints about the place until May. But since we did issue a 3rd violation in the beginning of September, which is still pending, and again, since their history is that they have not been willing to do anything to address this, that they felt that we should ask at this point for a cease and desist order to at least get them to come in and tell a hearing officer what they're going to do about this for next season.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, motion to approve.
Thank you very much.
All right, now we have DEP's request for pre-sealing reports.
Good morning, Kelly Corso, Assistant Commissioner for Adjudication and Hearings Division. And we have 16 pre-sealing reports today for the board. They all involve backfill cases. And 15 of them, the hearing officers are recommending no sealing or other action based on the compliance that the respondents have presented at the hearings. And in the remaining case, the hearing officer is agreeing with the DEP's recommendation that the CD proceeding be discontinued because DEP has verified that a backflow device is no longer needed at the premises. That's all.
All right, and is there a motion to approve? Those in favor? Okay. All right, so is there a motion to go into executive session to discuss the judicial report? Okay, motion carried. Go back on the record and then we'll summarize our discussion. And then I'll ask formally. Okay, yeah, is there a motion to go back into regular session? Okay, motion carried. All right. So in addition to the judicial review that was discussed in executive session, I had posed the question of panel composition because we have 3 appointed members currently on the board, and over the last while, the number of cases that are being reviewed by the panels have increased significantly. And therefore, the workload placed on the appointed members, who are two to each panel, has increased substantially. We were interested in posing the question, at least the chair was, posing the question of whether or not the members of the board were interested in considering a different panel composition. And the one proposal that we put before the board is making the panel one appointed member with one ex officio. And so the question was whether or not the appointed members in particular would be interested in that and doing that on a temporary basis. And so as a result of that discussion, which basically was focused on Ms. Nauer and Mr. Swan, because it really is up to them as to whether or not they think it'd be helpful to them. And so the impression is that if that was favorable toward them, although I want to be clear that there's no requirement for anyone to vote on anything today, because we didn't put this on the agenda formally. But it's my impression that because of the number of panels that are pending for our next meeting, which will be December, and the caseload expected, that the appointed members in particular may be interested in voting in favor of the temporary recomposition. So I will leave that to Ms. Nauer and Mrs. Swan.
I'll make the motion to vote on having a temporary composition of two panel members.
One appointed and one ex
Right,
officio.
at least until the next meeting, and if Tom Spentner is here, then if he has, maybe we can put it on the agenda for further
Yes.
discussion for the next meeting.
Sure.
But I would make a motion to vote on it for at least for this period of time, that be the protocol.
All right, any questions, anyone? Okay, so there's a motion, yeah.
Joseph Graham, Fire Department. I just want to make sure that the temporary period is from now until the next month.
Until the next board meeting, and we'll put it on the agenda. Okay, any other comments? Okay, so the motion then is posed to temporarily change the composition as described. Those members in favor? Okay, any opposed? No opposing. All right, thank you very much. I want to then confirm, we talked about a December 13 date for the next meeting. That'll put us in advance of the holidays enough so that it doesn't interfere. It's still good for everyone. Okay.
I have a question. On the process to get into this building, we're told that it has to be printed in or on. So anything to be done about that?
I will ask that question.
Which entrance did you have?
The one that we are told to do.
I'll tell you one,
Yes.
in there.
Yeah.
I got one with an old picture, so I don't know how they, I don't know if it was pre-printed or they printed it back.
They printed it.
Oh, they did,
I have the old
okay.
picture.
Okay, because I was like, I'm not wearing this today.
But it's faster.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so we will inquire. We also took a vote at the last meeting, or you guys did, I wasn't here, on the Rule 315 of the procedural rules regarding the superseding appeals.
Oh, right.
Right? We wound up having subsequent discussions about the redraft, and we came up with another proposal. Again, we didn't complete it sufficiently advanced, but we do have copies of the memo, and we'll put it on the agenda for the December meeting. We'll give you guys copies of the memo that we drafted.
Okay.
All righty. All right, anything else that anybody else would like to raise? All right, thank you.